Okay, what's up, everybody? So I want to look at the next position, for a swing play, and I think this is a higher premium type of play. But again, it doesn't have to be a swing play; it can literally just be a day trade. But this ticker does have a lot of value, and I like the setup that it has. It's not just the setup; it's the pattern, the candlestick pattern, which is a weekly candle. It's a doji. Okay, so let me just show you. This is this is the doji that I'm talking about here. So a lot of times when you see a doji, they're always at bottoms, they're always at tops, and the question is it at support or is it at a resistance? Is it in a middle ground? Because in the middle ground, it kind of really doesn't have much value. It has more value when it's at the bottom of a support or at the top of a resistance. In that case, you will know that it's a trend change and it'll continue to the opposite direction. So in this case, we're looking for the call side because we are at a support and it's a weekly support. Okay, I want to show you here why it's a weekly support and how that became a doji. And the week before, we had a strong bearish candle all the way to the downside, which happened because of the earnings. Again, uh, I'm not sure what happened with the earnings, how they reported, but that has nothing to do with the pattern and has nothing to do with the chart. Okay, but you do take into consideration if it's something you want to look into and maybe get a biased perspective. That's totally on you. I want to be looking to see what the doji candle reacts, how it will trend right after this, right? So we're gonna go on the 4-hour time frame, okay, and we're gonna prepare a trade plan for the upcoming weeks. And of course, this is a higher premium, so you got to be a lot more careful. So it's very easy because of the doji. It's the 300 level. It's very simple. Okay, so the entry for the call side would be over 300. Okay, that's what's going to be more difficult because we don't know what's going to be like for the pre-market, and we don't know if we're going to gap down in the market. We don't know if we're going to gap up. Okay, but either way, if this ticker opens above 300, it should be good for calls because we're over that doji. Now, yes, it's going to be Monday, but we also got to give it a few days, couple days if we need to. But we can definitely take it to the long side once it's over 300. Below the 300 is when we're going to start looking for the downside because now the trend will still continue down. Okay, you can look at this and say we're still downtrending and we can definitely come down. And once we break this 287, we'll look for the downside. I'll let you guys look at the levels for the downside for puts, but I'm going to give you the call side, okay? So over 300, if you want to be safe, over 305, okay, you're going to look for this wick, 309.57. You're going to look for these candle bodies, 313.63, and you're going to look for the target of 320, okay? In this case, if you want to enter Monday and take profit Tuesday at 320, we'll look how it reacts, and then come for the retest, base out in here, create a pattern in here, something for this ticker to start trending back up. So this can look like a nice fish hook pattern too. Okay, something like this. It doesn't have to. It can definitely have a nice bullish candle here, which again, I said, we can enter Monday and then take profit Tuesday. So enter a couple contracts and then grab the weekly contracts because it'll be a higher risk. So the 300s, the 310s would probably be decent for premium. So you can grab a few of those. So that's why it's a higher premium and it's a higher risk play. But the risk to reward actually makes sense on this one. So make sure to check this one out. Watch for a pattern, watch for a base, watch for some volume to come in, and take this to the top side with the target of 320. Of course, you guys go look at the rest of the targets, which would be like 330, 338, and 347, potentially 350. So make sure you keep eyes on this. Look for any type of catalyst. Look for any type of upgrades or downgrades. Because we do have that doji, because earnings are done. So look for market sentiment. Look for all those things in order to help you trade this ticker in the next few days. All right, guys. All right, guys. So here's another ticker that I wanted to talk about, and this is like the low premium type of swing trade that I want to look into for this week, even the next couple of weeks, to see what this ticker does. Now, this is AAL, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that we're trading in this nice range here. Okay, so I think the top would be this 22. You just say 2240, 2250. Okay, so from like 2250 all the way down to this bottom of like 20. So we've been trading this like $2 range for such a long time, and yeah, we went a little parabolic all the way to this like 26, and then the 2480, which we came back down and created this nice range. But let me just show you. Okay, so there, that's that huge range that we're in. So it looks like we had a nice little base here. Okay, so this is what I had previously over that 22 and then the 21. So the 22 and 21, we kind of just stayed base trading in there, and now we're breaking right above it. So what I want to see in the next few days is I want this to hold right here. I want AAL to hold over 22, and I want to take a long position, potentially 2 to 3 weeks out. With all the news that's coming out currently, there's a lot of bias and there's a lot of good things happening with a shift change in a lot of these stocks. So all the COVID basically is kind of done. The fear of it's done, and a lot of the how would you say this recovery is happening in the economy, you want to say, because now they're taking off those mandates to be wearing masks, which is causing a lot of good news to come out now. So the mask thing is no longer required in some areas unless you're vaccinated, and if you're not, I guess you do. Don't have the full details, don't quote me on that, but I do know that the bias is it's recovery. Okay, so with the recovery, you want to start looking for stocks that were beat down. You want to start to look for stocks that were range trading for such a long time, and therefore creating a lot more buying pressure and a lot more trend changes to the top side based off the bias. So I want to make sure we stay over 22, 2250. I'm going to look for 23, 20, 2320. Then I'm going to look for this 2375, and then 2420, and then from there, of course, 25 and all those things. But AAL is not a huge mover. So if you're going to grab multiple contracts, make sure you scale out and you let those runners run for free. Okay, so for example, if you put in $100 in a play like this and you make about 300, okay, what you want to do is scale out the 200, right? Because you already took your profits, and let $100 run, meaning let it go for free, because it's a stress-free swing trade. And of course, you're going to be grabbing multiple contracts. It's not just like you're going to grab 2 or 3. Okay, the premiums for these are very, very cheap. So any account size can play this ticker. Okay, so we're going to look for the sentiment. This is a nice bullish candle that we have on the 4-hour, on the daily, on the weekly. So look out for this. Okay, we're going to look for over 22. Try to buy the dip down here at 22 to 2250. This is the area where we want to get in, and then potentially trade it to the top side. So watch things like BA, AL, AAL, DAL, LUV, JETS for the ETF. So watch for all the airlines this week, but AAL was probably one of the best ones that I want to look for just because of the clean setup. So we'll have this on watch for the swing list. All right, guys.